Hello, welcome to the Calm Arts Studio. Have you ever listened to a speaker drone on in a dull, boring voice? His voice doesn't seem to change from the same monotonous sound. You start zoning out and wondering, does he even care about what he's talking about? If he doesn't care, why should I care? What the speaker may have been missing was vocal variety. We're speakers. We want to sound excited about what we are speaking about so our audience becomes excited to listen. Your speech content may be excellent, but unless it's delivered in an interesting way, very few people will actively listen. In order to motivate your audience to pay attention, you need to have variety in your voice. Today, I'm going to explain exactly what vocal variety is and offer you some tips for incorporating a little variety into your next speech. Vocal variety refers to the way we use our voices. There are four elements to vocal variety: the pitch, the tone, the volume, and the rate. First, let's talk about the pitch. Pitch refers to the position of the voice on the vocal range. Think of your voice like music. Would you want to listen to a singer that only sung the same note over and over? Probably not. Music has high notes and low notes, just like people's voices. Everyone has a natural pitch and a range of notes they use. Mariah Carey is famous for having a wide range. This means that she can sing those really low notes but also hit the really high ones. When you speak at the same pitch the entire time, you run the risk of sounding monotonous, which can be very boring for your audience. Varying your pitch will help keep your audience's attention and encourage them to stay engaged throughout your entire speech. Remember, when you're a speaker, you want to ask yourself, who is my audience and what is my goal? You always want to tailor your message to your audience so they receive and understand your intended message. Your goal is not to bore them, so widen your pitch range to keep them interested. Now, let's consider tone. Have you ever heard the expression, it's not what you say, but how you say it? You may be saying, I'm looking forward to it, but the tone of your voice says otherwise. The tone of voice is the expression of the speaker's mood or emotion. Tone is signified by a number of things: the emphasis put on certain words, the directness or indirectness of the message, the length of sentences, just to name a few. Your tone must always match the message of your speech. If you were asked to give a eulogy for a fallen family member or friend, you might speak solemnly in a softer, gentler tone. On the other hand, if you were describing a really, really thrilling ride on a fast roller coaster, your tone would be bright and dynamic, and your pace would probably quicken to show excitement. So remember this about tone. Show in your voice the mood you want your audience to feel. If you want your audience to feel your passion, sound passionate and excited. If you sound bored, your listeners will be bored too. Well, now that we know about pitch and about tone and how to vary each of them, let's move on to the third element of vocal variety: volume. Volume is how loudly or how softly we speak. Volume is perhaps one of the easiest elements of vocal variety to work on, but it is just as important. Have you ever sat in the back of the room and strained to hear what the speaker was saying? Of course, some of us naturally speak louder than others. Some of us speak more softly than others. The key is to project your voice. You want to speak loud enough so everyone in the room hears you. Remember, your voice sounds louder inside your own head. Most likely, you are not speaking as loudly as you think you are. Great. So far, we've discussed the first three elements of vocal variety. Let's conclude with the fourth and final element: our rate of speech. Do you remember when we described the roller coaster ride? We said that to show excitement, we would probably speak more quickly than usual. Well, that's exactly what rate is: how quickly or how slowly the pace of our speech is. Everyone has his or her own natural speaking rhythm, But when speaking in public, you want to make sure your pace is not too fast or too slow so everybody in your audience can understand you. Keep this in mind. Fast-paced speeches signal urgency, excitement, passion, or raw emotion, while a slower, more deliberate pace emphasizes important, serious, or significant ideas. If you're explaining new, complex information, try a slower rate to give the audience time to grasp it before moving on. If you're speaking on a topic you're passionate about, quicken the pace to make the audience feel a sense of excitement or urgency. And remember, one speaking rate will not be effective for an entire speech. Instead, you want to combine slow, medium, and fast rates to make your speech easier to listen to. Now, let's review what we learned about vocal variety. We learned that vocal variety includes 4 elements: the pitch, the tone, the volume, and the rate. We discussed examples of each, and you learned a few tips for developing vocal variety. Mastering each element requires time, effort, and practice, but you can do it. And if you need any additional assistance, come visit us at the Com Arts Studio. We're open. Are you?